Are the Chicago Bulls a real contender? Wow, didn't think I'd be asking myself this question a year ago. One of the best surprises of the 2021 NBA season has been the ascension of the Chicago Bulls. Aside of the Golden State Warriors, they are genuinely one of the most fun teams to watch in the NBA at the moment. They are 28-16 and sit at second place in the Eastern Conference at the time of this recording. This is a stark contrast from the Bulls team last season that finished with only a 31-41 record. Last year I did a video talking about Zach Lavine, who is the centerpiece of everything Chicago is doing right now. While acknowledging his talent, there were gaps in his game highlighted throughout the video, such as his defense and playmaking. While Lavine's development is largely his responsibility, it is also the team's job to ensure that they surround him with a talent that expounds upon what he does best, but also makes up for the things that he does not do well, especially because he will be a free agent this summer with the opportunity to sign a 5-year, $205 million extension. During the offseason, the Bulls held up their end of the bargain though. They went out and got the likes of DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, and Alex the GOAT Caruso this past offseason.
Nah, I don't believe it.
Near the end of last year, they made a trade to land Nikola Vucevic as well as to fortify the interior of the team. These roster-shaking moves have led to this team being one of the best teams in the entire NBA. They are currently 6th in offensive efficiency, 3rd in true shooting percentage, and 1st in three-point shooting percentage at the time of the recording. That is a big difference from last year when they were just a middling offense that was best described as the Zach Lavine show.
Ow. Yup. The truth hurts.
I would be a fool if I did not acknowledge that one of the best traits is that they are one of the most fun teams to watch in the NBA this season. A lot of their players are top flight athletes that can turn a simple defensive stop into a highlight display on the other end. They are a team built with many talented scorers that can create scoring opportunities for not only themselves, but also their teammates. It's a team that does often fall into isolation offense since they have so many talented scorers, which can be a good and bad thing.
What do you mean by that?
They're currently 6th in isolation points per game and have the highest ISO scoring frequency in the NBA. They score on 49.1% of their isolation possessions, with Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan respectively scoring 24.9 and 25.7 points per game. It's not entirely a surprise. This is a benefit for the Bulls as they tend to have ways to create points late in games, and even when the normal offensive sets break down, they can still generate offense. The downside of heavy isolations is that the offense can become stagnant and turn into a lot of ball watching from the other players. It could turn into a whole lot of this.
Paul Pierce, the truth, you fuck!
The roster does wisely have its fair share of facilitators out there with either scorer when they are on the court to ensure the offensive sets are being run and the ball is getting around to other players. Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso fill this role primarily. Their presence is also key in ensuring that the top scorers are put into advantageous positions to optimize their offense. Especially Lonzo Ball, who's a viable passing outlet off the ball as well. He's shooting an impressive 42.3% from deep this year, and half of his shots are catch and shoot threes that he's hitting at a similar clip of 42.3%. Pretty amazing when you think about it. Remember when his shot used to look like this? The thing was more busted than McFlurry machines at McDonald's.
Hi, what can I get for you?
Is your ice cream machine working?
Yes, it is.
Okay, can I just get one vanilla ice cream cone?
It actually just broke.
His impact is key to making the entire cog work, which is one of the reasons why he leads the team in minutes played. They definitely have the offensive talent to compete at a high level against other teams and in a myriad of ways. Whether it's on the perimeter or even in the low post, they do have options. However, the defensive side of the ball is just as important and is still a glaring weakness for this team, particularly when it comes to guarding the best teams in the NBA. The Bulls currently sit at 19th in team defensive efficiency and 17th in team defensive rating. They are below average and still don't have the identity of a lockstep defensive unit. Teams with explosive offensive stars like the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden are not easily beaten by just trying to win the offensive side of the ball. While Brooklyn's offense does not sit atop the NBA currently, they were still the title favorites coming into the season with good reason, along with the Milwaukee Bucks, who are the reigning champions. There's a big difference between regular season basketball and playoff basketball.
All right, explain this to me like I'm a 2-year-old.
Less transition, less freebies, less anything easy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In those scenarios, offenses become even more dependent on their star talent, especially when defensive intensity naturally amps up. The Bulls have go-to scorers in Lavine and Derozan, but neither has shown it on the biggest stage like an Irving or a Durant. Playoff experience is a real thing, and the Bulls are currently lacking it. The players with the most experience on the roster are Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, Jordan Bell, and Derrick Jones Jr. It remains to be seen if this team can show up in the biggest pressure moments that only experience can really prepare you for, especially when one of the go-to scorers in DeRozan has not had the best track record in the postseason. Luckily for DeMar, he is no longer in Toronto, and LeBron is no longer in the East. We all know he doesn't need to experience any more moments like this.
Buddy here on the dribble.
It's going to be James.
Here it is. See, it's under
3 seconds to go. Throws up the floater. Good night, Cleveland. That is for you.
I am dead inside.
All jokes aside, the Bulls are a talented team with the potential that can make noise by getting to the second round or even the East Finals. However, the idea of picking them over a fully healthy Brooklyn Nets or Milwaukee Bucks team is just unrealistic to me right now, especially because in both series, those respective teams would have the best player on the court. While I'm not ready to proclaim the Chicago Bulls title contenders right now, this year could be the launching point for them to eventually put themselves in that discussion. So we'll just have to wait and see how it ends up finishing for the Bulls and how they end up playing out in the postseason. But guys, thanks for tuning into this KBR Sports video. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Of course, make sure if you're tuning in, hit the subscribe button, hit that post notification bell as well, so you don't miss any future videos, as well as leaving a like on the video, guys. All those help circulate the videos in the algorithm. And let me know what you guys think about the Chicago Bulls, because even right now, man, a lot of the stats I'm giving, I had to say at the time of this recording, because they've had so many injuries. Like, I saw a report, Lonzo Ball is out for like 4 to 8 weeks because he's got an injury. Alex Caruso is out for like 6 weeks because he just got an injury. Zach Lavine is out. Like, there's so many injuries this team has just garnered in the last few weeks that I'm sitting here, I'm like, gosh damn, can I trust them? Like, I don't know if I can trust the team now, but they are still second in the Eastern Conference as of this moment. So I'm wondering how everybody feels about the Bulls, because they do have talent, and I love their pickups this season and how they all seem to be gelling and meshing with one another. But you definitely see the vulnerabilities there, and you kind of wonder how will this all play out in a postseason matchup, especially against experienced guys like a Kevin Durant or like a Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? So guys, make sure you follow the KBR Sports Podcast as well on all platforms, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as well as making sure you follow myself on all social media at Brendan Abbin or Abbin Brendan on Twitter, of course. And make sure you guys join the Discord. The thing was more busted than the McFlurry machine. The thing was more